WN, Chapter 91. Reunion between Master and Slave. Nearly every disciple within the outer court stopped whatever they were doing and stared at the handsome young man in a set of green robes casually strolling towards the medicine hall. Fuck, the rumors are true. Su Yang really became an inner court disciple. He is actually at the profound spirit realm. The disciples expressed disbelief and shock upon seeing Su Yang in his new sect clothes. Although the news of Su Yang becoming an inner court disciple was already widespread, there were plenty of people who did not believe the news. However, now that they witnessed for themselves Su Yang in his inner court disciple robes, they could only bite their lips and recognize his new standing within the sect. And no way. Damn it, how did that cripple reach the profound spirit realm before me? This must be the heavens playing a sick joke on us. The disciples complained inwardly, thinking that it was a big mistake to promote Su Yang, but none of them spoke out loud, as they were all afraid of his new profound status as an inner court disciple. Meanwhile, Su Yang didn't even bother paying attention to the gazes being directed at him, only focusing on the road. A few minutes later he arrived at the medicine hall, and the moment he entered the doors, many shocked cries resounded inside the place. Junior apprentice brother Su, why your robes? They are green. The news of Su Yang becoming an inner court disciple did not appear here in the medicine hall yet, hence the shocked reaction from the disciples there. Of course, they'd be green. I have passed the examination and became an inner court disciple, he said with a smile. Wow. Congratulations, junior apprentice brother Su. What junior apprentice brother? He's our senior now, even if he is younger than us. The girls at the medicine hall all crowded around Su Yang, each giving him their congrats without thinking too much as to how he managed such a feat. Meanwhile, disciple Xiao, who was the only one out of the group of sisters to have disliked Su Yang since day one, stared at him with a dumbstruck expression, seemingly in a daze. Although she still found him unpleasant, there was a sense of regret in her heart, regretting that she didn't try to get closer to him when she had the chance. Is Elder Lan here? I'd like to speak to her, Su Yang asked them a moment later. Master, she went to some sort of meeting this morning along with many other sect elders and have yet to return. Meeting? It seemed urgent, so Master left without leaving any words behind. Is it because of that? Su Yang wondered if this meeting had anything to do with Li Cheng's death, as such a possibility seemed very likely. Very well, then I will return later. It's not anything important, so it can wait, he said to them before leaving. After leaving the medicine hall, Su Yang walked towards the inner court of the sect, where all the inner court disciples dwelled. This was his first time entering the inner court, and his first impression of the place was more or less disappointment. Compared to the lively and always active outer court with disciples commonly seen chatting and relaxing outside their houses, this inner court was more of an abandoned area with not even a single disciple outside. After standing there for a short moment to look at the place, Su Yang resumed his steps, walking straight to a large area within the inner court, where a few disciples could be seen gathered in the center. There were at least 20 disciples standing around, and all of them wore green robes, meaning that they were all inner court disciples like him. When Su Yang noticed the disciples there, they also noticed him, and they all looked at him simultaneously. Who's that? This is my first time seeing his face here. I have never seen his face before, too. A new inner court disciple? How is it possible that none of us have heard of him when he's obviously talented enough to become one of us? The inner court disciples all looked at him with their interests piqued. Normally, before any outer court disciple becomes an inner court disciple, their name would have already been known by the inner court disciples, as only those who are talented enough could possibly become one of them, and such talented individuals would naturally enter their ears before he or she becomes one of them. Su Yang, however, became an inner court disciple out of the blue, and he was known for being a useless cripple within the outer court, so it wasn't weird that these inner court disciples, people that only care about the talented, didn't know of him. He's Su Yang. However, not everybody there didn't know Su Yang's face since there was clearly someone there that was aware of his identity. Huh? You know him? The inner court disciples there turned to look at the young lady who exclaimed very loudly in a surprised voice just now. The young lady just realized that she'd said his name out loud by accident, and her face reddened. A troubled expression appeared on this young lady's face. She clearly didn't want to associate herself with Su Yang, especially not when all her friends were there. When Su Yang first saw her familiar-looking face, he instantly recognized her identity, and a grin appeared on his face. He began approaching the group at a slow and steady pace, seemingly unfazed by their fearsome presence as a group. Once he reached in front of the group of inner court disciples, or more precisely, the young lady that had called out his name, he bowed sincerely and said in a respectful voice, "It's been a while, master." The inner court disciples looked at Su Yang and the young lady, and after a moment of thinking, they finally realized the situation. So he's your servant all along, senior apprentice Sister Li? Even though I have seen this plenty of times, it still never fails to entertain me, your habit of turning others into your own slaves. The surrounding disciples began laughing out loud. The young lady, who was precisely Li Xiaomo, began sweating profusely at their words, and all of the memories of her trying to subdue Su Yang only to be conquered by him quickly returned to her head.